hanging from his neck until he dies.
Allow me to offer counsel. Wait for it.
Wait for what?
If we keep giving him rope, he'll hang himself.
Is that some kind of metaphor? Because I want to see him suffocate. It's what he deserves.
There are worse ways to go. If we wait, he'll find one of them.
On that last mission, did you get what I asked for?
Of course.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sweets are so hard to find out here.
The human race once ruled Tyria. Now, we struggle to hold our ground. We've been defeated, driven back, and broken. But we will not surrender. So many nations have fallen. Only Kryta still stands.
We're under attack! Everybody get to the end. We can protect you at the end.
By all six gods, what is that thing? It's huge!
Fresh air and exercise are the best medicine. The goddess Dwayna helped you. Perhaps you could help others?
Part 100! Here we are, ready to, and I quote, ram packed tanks down Zaitan's throat. About to go on a huge offensive. It should be pretty exciting. Funnily enough, the other Guild Wars LP I did that made it to 100 episodes was the original Prophecies one, where we were also doing some big story moments. Actually dealing with the Rites of Ascension right around episode 100 might be kind of interesting. Though, of course, those episodes were a lot shorter. Many of them were around 10 minutes. But yeah, I just had to stop here on this cold January day because I'm pretty sure right before my eyes in my garden, a cat was about to viciously maul a pigeon in front of me. So I scared the pigeon off, and I'm feeling amazingly altruistic here. I hope you guys are all doing good. And yeah, we're going to really go on with marching orders here into some awesome stuff. Now, immediately you'll notice in our story log, here it says, further into All, we established a forward command post last time for the Pact in a Reflection Cove, deep underneath the Grand Cathedral of Lissa. We defended it from the Ravagers of a Risen Prince, which, by the way, you guys are saying Al-Hazred could be a reference to the author of the Necronomicon. I didn't know that. So that's a bit of trivia. And this place will be a critical part of our advancement into Ore. What we chose to do was to take these Iron Legion tanks and ride them up these old abandoned magical roads towards Ara. Pretty goddamn exciting, but the actual objective we have is to meet Tegwen near Sheltered Docks. So we have actually already progressed up these roads, and we have seen all the way up here. We're actually a bit further across, though, because we're gonna need to get the tanks off of our boats, and we need to go to these old Orient docks and reclaim them for ourselves. And the objective is to meet Tegwen. Tegwen being the Sylvari that has had so much to say and do throughout the story, is going to be actually meeting Tyrix here for the first time, I believe. I don't think they've met until now. So in we go, marching orders. Now, some of you guys might think, oh, I wish Caraflower had seen this. And I really like that idea as well. You know, that Caraflower and Tegwen meet at every single opportunity they possibly can. But I can't really justify it. I think that Caraflower would be more interested in dealing with the Priory stuff. I just can't imagine she'd come and deal with this. Interestingly enough, if Tyrix had gone to deal with the missing squad, he would have had his own interesting connection as well. But something to bear in mind. There's going to be so many amazing old faces and characters for us to meet here, including, immediately, two we should recognize. One you definitely will. First, we have Tactician Burn, and second, we have Crusader Deborah. Yes, it's Casey's sister. So before we deal with her, let's talk about Burn here.
If you're looking for Tegwen, follow the path along the outside of the wall. He's out on the ledge with the others. Watch your step.
Why'd you bring Allie? This is a scary place for a dog.
She wouldn't stay home even if I tied her to the gates of Divinity's Reach, would you, girl?
Oh, Ali's here. I was looking. I was like, where is the dog? So here's Ali. So who is Burn? Well, let's press F and speak to him.
Vigilance, honor, duty above all.
He says, welcome, Commander. The Pale Reavers are waiting for you out on the Overlook. Of course, Tyrix has never met this man, but this is like the original Guild Wars 2 NPC to me, kind of the equivalent of a priest-searing NPC. What is it, War Master Tidus, maybe you speak to first in that game? Basically, right after the initial cutscene of the game, go back to episode 1 of the series. The first guy we speak to is him. There, he's called Corporal Burn. He's now Tactician Burn, I guess, as he's a part of the pact. He gets a different rank or whatever. But he was there right at the start. He's the guy that says, oh, go to the inn. We've got a sergeant at the inn who can help you all out. This is Tactician Burn right there from that initial early story stuff. And yeah, he's got some different gear now, I think, actually. But that's the guy. And his dog might have even been there as well. His alley.
Fight because we must.
We fight because we must, I'm sure. Can we actually speak to the dog? I'm not sure if we can. And then, of course, we have Crusader Deborah here. Welcome back to the front lines, Commander, she says. So there's a ton to talk about with her. First of all, check out her weird purple eyes. Now, isn't this strange? So this is the sister of the human protagonist in the story. But obviously, we're not playing the human protagonist. Casey Whitedale died on Claw Island and will never get to reunite with his sister. But this is the woman who goes missing, who was captured by the centaurs. And now here you do find her at, again, the end of the game. What that says about the timelines and how many player characters existed and all that kind of stuff is really kind of mind-blowing. But there's a lot of really interesting, not just narrative stuff about the fact that she appears here. And it's an awesome idea for the devs to go with. Because basically, if you are a human that had the dead sister and you did that storyline, it's like she leaves and you just don't get to see her again. The devs thought that wasn't good enough, so she does actually come and join the pact. Last time we were dealing with this, I did tell you guys she would return later, and well, here she is. So it's got all these narrative implications and interesting in that way, but mechanically as well. Deborah is the point of the most decisions within decisions within decisions in the game, and it adds all kinds of complications. What do I mean by that? Well, think about this. You only get to see Deborah before now if you are a human who picked the dead sister storyline, and if you remember, so that's two choices within choices of the human race. But then also, as a part of that story act, if you remember, Logan asks, hey, where are you guys even from? And you get to choose Crichton, Ascalonian, Elonian, or Canthan. And depending on which of those you pick, changes her ethnicity in those story steps. So if I said that we were Ascalonian, she looks different than if I said she was Crichton. So through our story, when we were Casey, if you go back to the episode, I can't remember what one it was, maybe 10 or 11. Casey said that we were Crichton. Casey is of Kryta. That's the story we knew before he died. His sister was of Kryta as well. And so she had a defined Crichton look. So that's all good. But what about now, when I come to do this instance as a Chard that never made those choices? Which model do they go with? How is she supposed to look? So here we can see her. She is in Seraph armor. It looks like she rejoins the Seraph after she's saved and Falcon Company is avenged and whatnot. But, like, this is the appearance they've gone with. You'll see she has purple eyes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the way that this works is in the later stages of the story, because the devs have no way of really knowing, they actually randomize her appearance. It's not very good, but what it means is Tyrix will hang out with her here, and if she's in another story step, you know, a month down the line now, she could randomly be suddenly black because she's chosen the Elonian option now, or she could randomly look Asian because she's chosen the Canthan option, which is really kind of weird and a shame. I'll note as well, I think the game is so bugged that even if you are a human, even if Casey had made it this far in the adventure, it still would have done random and it wouldn't have properly honored her old appearance. I believe I did a stream to do with that a while ago, and that's essentially what we found out. But anyway, it's Deborah. I think it's a really ballsy move for the devs to do. This is the ultimate, like, thing to bring back because it's just Russian dolls of choices upon choices, and they've got to logistically figure out how to implement it, and they went for it. So, yeah, Deborah, Tactician Burn, lots of reuniting with old humans. If you are a human in this instance, you do get lots of unique dialogue. Tyrix doesn't really know what's going on, though. Let's move on up, though. And this is set in such a cool place as well, where all these law scrolls were. Here we got these Crusaders and War Masters and stuff still dealing with it. Oh, we just got to go to the docks straight away, do we? Right, well... oh, they're up there. Okay, good. There's a plateau. Well, how does the team want us to go there? I guess that's too much of a jump. So, let's not go into the base. Let's walk... Oh, someone's sitting down in there. Oh, these guys are just taking a nap. I'd like to say they're slacking off, but I'm sure it's just that people still need sleep. They're on a shift rotation. Let's move around here. And this is actually where we saw that jump pad before. And we'll find Tegwen. So what's going on with them? And you remember last episode we heard a new term. That of the Pale Reavers. Well, aren't these guys looking pretty goddamn cool? Pale Reaver snipers we see. And Tegwen, Karis, Crusader of Fanon, Pack Scout Hyrule. Hyrule is the guy that was locked in a crate cage underwater in Timberline Falls. Near where Apatia got captured, and we freed him from the cage, if you remember, by getting the keys off the Sharkmaster. He swam off, and now he's here. He's fighting the good fight. What do you guys notice is in common with every single one of these characters here?
Officer on site. Stand at attention.
Have you decided?
Greetings, Commander. Welcome to the Pale Reaver Company.
Pale Reavers is an interesting name. I notice you're all Savari.
Because Sylvari are immune to the curse of undeath, we've been given this dangerous mission. If we fail, we won't rise again.
Tegwen and I have been to this part of Ore once before, when a cursed mirror sent us here. It's horrible, but recognizable.
The Marshal has ordered us to seize the docks, so packed war machines can be brought in by ship. My soldiers are trained in the art of stealth. If you want us to move invisibly, let me know. The camp to the south is our backup, but they haven't reported in. We need to check in there before we take the docks.
I hope nothing's happened to them, though by now I know better than to hope. Commander, will you lead the way?
Hell yeah, I will.
That's one creepy-looking giant down there.
2 giants. 2 definitely creepy-looking giants.
Come on, we can take 2 giants. Where's your sense of fun?
I left it back at the Grove. I could go back and find it.
Time to go, soldiers. Commander, if you take the lead. Weapons out, team. We need to be ready for anything.
Okay, this is a great mission for so many reasons. First of all, the giants. So looking over the edge, we got all the way down there is where we eventually have to go. First, I just really like the idea that we could jump in that water there and like try and skip the whole mission, but there's a whole story. If we press M, you'll actually see that what you're actually meant to do is walk around logically, and you know, we're going to honor the way that the game is meant to be played and do it properly here, as we always do in the series. But giants! Things are heating up now. Giants, we have seen risen giants once before in the series so far. Do you guys remember? The vision the pale tree gave us of Ore did depict us fighting giants. Now, they were kind of weaker versions and it wasn't kind of real. This is the real deal now. They're patrolling around. We're going to have to deal with them. And yes, so the Pale Reavers are a squad of elite Sylvari that you would use, right? Sylvari are immune to dragon corruption. If you send any other squad off of Char or whatever, all of a sudden you've got more soldiers and more undead, more zombies to deal with. Not in this case. It makes so much sense. Now, if you guys remember, about midway through the story, Caraflower met up with these guys on the Blood-Tide coast, and in that mission you see like the start of the creation of the Pale Reavers. You see like these elite Sylvari start coming together, and I think there might have even been a continuity error or something in that mission where they're referred to as Pale Reavers before the Pale Reavers have properly been founded and stuff. In fact, I remember we were talking about it in that episode. If you go back, you guys might remember it. Look at how many threads are coming together now. And so now the spoiler is unveiled. Yes, the Pale Reavers, they become a big deal, and they're very cool. So yeah, we can kind of look around their snipers. What exactly their skills do has changed as well. This is a rare example of a personal story mission that was updated once the expansion started coming out, and I'll show you why. Anyway, here's Hyrule. Hey, man.
You'll be safe on my watch.
Oh, will I? He says, I've scouted the area as best I can. Okay, dude, we talk? I scouted the area as best I can. The risen ebb and flow quickly. It's hard to keep track of their troop movements. We just have to be ready for whatever the threat is. So I love the subtle story they're telling there of a guy that was saved by the Pact and decides, you know what, I'm going to fight along with you, and actually follows through. Here we've got a Farnan. Forming the Pale Reavers was a stroke of genius. We can do things and face risks that no one else can. Right, let's see what this team can do. And you know, the Sylvari for so long in the story are kind of like the children of the story, and the naive ones and the new ones. Here you get to see like some of their ferocity, and like it's like they're snipers too. They're careful, they're planning, they're cunning. It's like they've quickly grown up, you know. Okay, that was Hyrule again. So we've spoken to everyone, I think. Well, we got Karis and Tegwen too. Karis here with her hammer. I'm pleased you're in charge this time. Tegwen knows I like sneaking up on my target, but she always chooses to bring up a boring attack formation. I don't think she knows how to have fun. She's like me. She wants to keep everyone alive. Fall in, soldier. Okay, so at any point in the mission, we can speak to Tegwen, and she gives us 2 options. She says, standing by for your orders, Commander. How do you want us to proceed? We can go in hot and get attack formation, which is what I will be mostly using. But there's also this very interesting option here. Keep a low-profile stealth formation. Now, when we click this...
Stealth formation.
Everyone's stealth, so that sound effect was actually a mesmery sound effect. But you'll notice I'm a warrior, and I have stealth now. Warriors are not a class that's meant to have stealth, let me tell you. And if I mouse over, you'll see it lasts an hour. It's called Hide in Shadows, which is actually the name of a Thief Hill skill. We get an hour of stealth. Really cool. Now, when we attack, we will get revealed. Okay, so it's not permanent stealth, but we do get stealth for a nice opening engage. Fun mechanic. The other thing is, though, we can say, let's go in hot attack formation.
Attack formation.
And while we don't get a buff here, what that does is changes the AI and what our allies will do, and they are devastatingly powerful. So I'm actually going to stick with that, since having a tiny bit of stealth as we run in isn't actually too useful. It's a fun thing, though. And lastly, we can say, I'd like to know more about the Pale Reavers. She says, Marshal Traherne himself had the idea. Once he realized that Zaitan can't raise Sylvari, he formed this squad to exploit that weakness. So the continuity error is that you shouldn't really have Pale Reavers before the events of Claw Island and Traherne becoming Marshal and the Pact being founded, because they're saying here he had the idea later. Why doesn't Zaitan's magic work on Sylvari? She says unknown at present, but the Pact's top minds are working on it. If you ask me, we're just too new to Tyria. Elder Dragons haven't figured us out yet. Well, is that really convincing? Did Elder Dragons have to figure out Quaggan and stuff? I don't know. There's a lot of mysteries that the story sets up, guys. And let me tell you, some of the mysteries are really worth thinking about. It's a mystery for another day. For now, we can use it. And so we also say I'm ready to give the squad orders, and she says standing by. Okay, no change. So maybe some hints to the future there, but we'll take advantage of this corruption thing as best we can. Let's move on down to the docks, and I'm going to do that by walking over in this direction. And we'll see how well these guys actually fight. You'll notice that they're all running really weirdly. The game gets a bit odd when you have so many allies who are all trying to path to you and move to you. That's why they kind of sprint around a lot. But we can just generally trust them that they'll stay here. One thing I really love about this arc... Look at the doors open to the manse now. One thing I really love about this arc and doing this one first is that it gives us a really cool progression through this, not reliant on the open world meta events. And so we'll see. All right, here we go. A-bombs. Not just one A-bomb, lots of A-bombs. And plague bearers. Are we sure we're going to be okay with this, guys? Well, I'll throw an axe and begin. And oh my god, here we go. So you can see that they are genuine snipers. It's not just that they've been given rifles, right? And that's like the flavor and the theme of them. The Pale Reavers are a genuine crack squad of immense damage dealers that will snipe and blow things up. This is a very rare example of a position in Guild Wars 2 where the devs make the allies really good. Most of the time throughout the design in the game, as you've noticed, I mean, Christ, we're on episode 100, is that the NPCs are way weaker than we are, and that allows you to be at the front, and that allows you to be the hero, and that should, in theory, mean that the weapons you use and the traits you use and everything is meaningful, in theory. So I get why they do that. But it has this sense of making everyone feel useless all the time, and you don't value your allies. When in this mission, you do value your allies, because these guys are so badass.
Oh no, it's a slaughterhouse. You'd think a well-defended camp like this would be safe.
Oh, this is all. Nothing is safe. What troubles me is that this was supposed to be our backup. We can't head back to the docks until we clear this camp.
So the other thing that's really interesting about this, as I was mentioning earlier, there was an update to this instance. When it was first added, this specific animation and style of sniper attack was not what they originally did. I think maybe back then they had just given them random rifles. I don't know, actually. I can't remember. But when the first expansion was added, for reasons I guess we'll get into later, the devs came back and upgraded the Pale Reavers' weapons right here. And so, you know, it's really cool for me to see that. It's something I wish the devs did more, going back and updating story instances, making them cooler, adding new animation stuff. They had no reason to have to do this, but they did, and I'm really glad that they did. So there's an interesting dynamic with this instance now, where because our allies are so strong, we actually want to keep them alive. This is a rare example. If I'd been playing a healing build, right? Like a build where we shout to heal people as much as possible on our warrior, that would actually be really good to use here because, you know, it would feel valuable since they already do so much damage. Obviously, Guild Wars 2 is a game where everyone can revive everyone, so I can always just press F to pick them up, and they'll revive one another too, so you can kind of ignore it. But it is a thing where you want to make sure that you don't leave any Reavers behind and you keep them alive. We'll need their firepower to take out those giants later in the mission, because the giants are just that dangerous. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. But if we've got all of our snipers with us at the time, it could be good. You'll notice we're kind of getting swarmed a bit by Risen, and we want to be cautious of that as we move past the camp. Moving along the road here. It's going to be so cool to get tanks coming along this road, isn't it? Wait, okay, so we got to go down, though, right? And here I'm going up along the shelter, the Theatre of Delight. So let's come down here and actually get off the road. We're going to go to the docks first. So yeah, that camp fell away as well. That's kind of an unfortunate, sad side of all of this, that the camp was destroyed. And
I don't like the looks of this ravine. Stay sharp.
We'd actually been there in the open world recently. That's where we started the video. Obviously, once the instance starts, we'll be back in the open world, and it will have miraculously been reclaimed. We can suggest, though, that maybe Traherne, as part of his efforts with the Pact, did something about that. So yeah, okay, we come to this doorway. Very easy to skip if you just follow the green starburst, because you can kind of jump over that cliff into the water, by the way. So a lot of players miss this. And there's another crazy trivia bomb here, because what we're about to find in this instance is a utterly unique enemy that only exists in this one place of Guild Wars 2 anywhere. It's only in one story instance. It's not in anywhere in Kryta. It's not in anywhere in Ascalon, anywhere in the Shiver Peaks. It's in no dungeons. It's in no story instances. There is only one. It is a truly unique thing in the entire game. Why it's here in this instance, what its purpose was by the devs, I have no idea. But you guys ready to see it? It's never been reused in expansions. It is like the ultimate weird thing. It's this Orion Fire Eater. Now, as long as I don't attack it, the snipers won't attack it either, so we can have a look. It's a weird drake, like an undead drake, you see, with a corrupted molten front face that seems to breathe through this trough of fire, and the idea is that it spits fireballs, like, at range. So here, they're going to snipe this guy out. Hopefully they don't cleave it. So it's an interesting environmental hazard. Here we go. They're killing it now. Let's look at the death animations. This is so rare. And there you go. It roars and it explodes like that. It's cool, isn't it? I can imagine maybe that the devs had an idea where maybe some jumping puzzles or sequences throughout the game had those filling up the ledges, and they'd be like environmental hazards you have to deal with. But in the end, only one ever got added to the game. Why? I don't know. Is there some kind of weird coding issue that prevents it being reused? Is it, as I suspect it might be, that the devs don't really have much memory of all the weird stuff that's in the personal story, and so weird mechanics are left, even though they're perfectly usable? Like, for example, you know, we saw when we were playing Casey, there were still animations and skills that were referring to alpha mechanics that aren't in the game. I guess that Fire Eater is a similar thing, right? But that's, it's kind of weird. That's like one of those weird trivia things that, to me, it's like, I'm glad that we get to show off at least somewhere. There you go, the Orion Fire Eater. If you ever want to have a weird piece of information no one knows about in the game, that's a good bet. You can often go to that.
You're a frightened child.
There's a ship from Lion's Arch and a Risen Giant, and they're pretty goddamn tall. So let's throw an axe at it to get our Reavers in and watch them snipe it through. So you guys have seen how much damage they do, right? And even they have to do multiple volleys. He's going to start spawning grubs that we should probably want to cleave down. Here I can use 4 Great Justice to give them a ton of might, which will actually increase their sniping capabilities. And yeah, we're just going to try and kill this one instead of both at once. We'll try and do them separately. There you go. We can't fear him or anything. He's just too big. And down he goes! Our first giant kill. It kind of doesn't count in a lot of ways because we have an overpowered squad with us. But, you know, it's something. Moving along. Oh, it's so cool to see a real boat. Not a ruined, wrecked boat, as we see everywhere, but a real, still seaworthy vessel here at Orr. There's, again, it's a bit like at Claw Island here, where there's a whole story of where this ship came from and Lion's Arch's interactions with the battle that we just kind of don't get to see. If you guys remember, we saw the Lion's Arch fleets in the distance when we were taking out Blightcast, the Plaguebringer. I get the same kind of sense right here on this mission. But down goes this giant. And we're all good. So let's get these tanks off of the ship. I guess it's actually from the Black Citadel, essentially, eventually. The logistics of getting this technology all the way here from Ascalon is kind of mind-blowing. We get this cool cutscene as the tanks roll out. Things go black and white. Terex is feeling at home now. Yeah. Oh, and there they are.
Hail, Commander. Gear Warband reporting for duty, with siege engines in tow. Those tanks are amazing. You sailed with them all the way from Lion's Arch?
Oh, that wasn't the hard part. Keeping myself dry the whole trip. Now that was a problem. Cottonmouth. Ugh.
I've always wanted to ride one of these metal thingies into battle. I'm so excited.
Now you're my kind of Solvari. We should grab a whiskey later.
Back to the task at hand. Those tanks give us the tactical advantage we need to position packed troops outside Arra. We'll finish unloading the war machines onto dry land, Commander. Once you're ready, meet us at the Western Colonnade.
Brilliant, will do. So, the instance is complete. I love how the second the Char get back in the story, they're talking about whiskey and stuff. It's just like, I remember in the Grove, actually, there are Solvari talking about the phenomenon of getting drunk and drinking and stuff if you wait around in certain areas of the Grove long enough. But there you have it. Pretty good victory here. We get the epic victory music. Kara says, I knew we could handle a couple of creepy giants, and now we've got all these Char tanks to play with. Look out, Zaitan. Here we come. Good enthusiasm, soldier. Just lower the volume. That kind of sums me up, actually. Good enthusiasm, but probably talk too loud. So far, so good. And going forwards, we'll back you up wherever you need us, Commander. So the Pale Reavers will carry along with us. Their name as well, the Pale Reavers of the Pale Tree, is very cool. And then Tegwen, she has all the same dialogue as before, but she gets a new option here, which is at ease. The Pale Reavers did well. You should be proud. I don't know why the devs implemented it this way. It's kind of weird. Usually they don't at all, right? Anyway, thank you, Commander. We're off to a strong start, but this mission is far from over. Having Char tanks and getting them to the Cathedral of Zephyrs are two different things. So, that's our next objective. We've seen we've walked past the Balthazar Cathedral. We've seen the Cathedral of Eternal Radiance. We've missed out on all the big stories to do with getting those. And reclaiming them for the pack, but now there's another cathedral a bit deeper in, the Cathedral of Zephyrs. We can handle it. I'll meet you at the staging ground, we say. Well, I hope you're right about that. So the next instance is actually very close. This is the outpost we defended. You'll notice that the meta right now is actually in a really good place. Assistance requested escorting troops. You see, they're going along the other bridge. Maybe we'll see that eventually. But here, we're going to follow the logic of this road here and take our tanks along it in armor guard. To me, when I think about Guild Wars having a movie adaptation or the personal story having a remake, or what the true height of this story is, the core story, the Zaitan story. When I think about that, I think it's best encapsulated by this story beat here, which is the ancient magical fantasy land of Or, with all of its stuff to do with gods and dragons rising and abominations and all that kind of high fantasy stuff, juxtaposed with vicious Char riding in tanks and using kind of modern military vocabulary to describe their assault through to hit an Elder Dragon. That juxtaposition of those two worlds colliding, as it's represented in this instance here as we move these tanks along, is beautiful to me, and is what I always think about as like the extreme heights of the story they're really trying to tell with this world building. And I hope you guys get a feeling of that as we go forward here. So check out Tactician Burn and Deborah back. You guys have made it a long way. The very start of the story to here.
All set, Commander. The Pale Reavers have scouted ahead, and Ballista Geargrind's tank column is ready to roll.
Good. Marshal Traherne needs these tanks. We'll make sure he gets them, and we'll put them to use along the way.
Be advised, we expect serious resistance. The Reavers will be there to support you along the route. My squad will airdrop in at the target and prep the site for you. In the meantime, Geargrind and her warband are standing by.
Excellent. It's good to have you with us, Tactician. An operation this complicated needs people who can both plan and execute.
Thank you, Commander. I'll see you at the temple. Good luck.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve a bit of appreciation. So these two are going to run off. Look at all the races we've got cooperating here. Human, Char, Silvari, even dogs. The Risen don't stand a chance. And Deborah says, so her look is consistent here. I wish more of Divinity's Reach could be here to see us fighting alongside the Char. It's way past time for everyone to move beyond ancient grievances. Agreed. Zaitan's given us all plenty of fresh grievances. Yeah, that's true. Potentially easy dialogue to miss there as they walk out of bounds of the instance, but they might just stop there forever, actually. I think this is a bug. They've all pathed to the exact same coordinate, and they're just standing inside one another. But hey. All right, let's head on over to the Ballista Geargrind. The Gear Warband striking again, so often referenced throughout the story, and see what they got to say. And here, we're starting to get glimpses of the plateaus beyond in all places that we haven't seen so far. The pockmarked road with these pillars here sort of leaning off to the horizon. Hello, Vigil Marksman. Whispers.
These vehicles weren't meant for this terrain, or these enemies.
This ordnance puts down the Risen even faster than it erases ghosts. Destroys them permanently, too.
Yeah, but ghosts poop away with hardly any residue. Risen or gunky, clogs the machinery.
The finest war machines of the legions won't be stopped by gunk, soldier. Get back to work.
I like that. It's designed to fight ghosts, and now we're actually having problems because zombie guts are getting inside the stuff. Look at these things. They're badass. Okay, so I'd like to point out, so far in the game, we've seen these tanks, and we've utilized them to a certain extent. But I don't think we've actually seen any of them moving. Right? I don't think so. Well, you may be in for a surprise. So, here we got Mangonel Gear Strip. The Char have waited a long time to march into Ore. Look at that! As though they still remember the last time they marched on Ore. Let us not forget what happened then. Just wait until the Risen get a taste of our firepower. We'll be guzzling grog in a Ra before you know it. Like, look at how cool this is. It's not just tanks going through Ore. It's Char. They go on an assault with swords and shields and things and magic, try and attack Ore. Fail miserably. Hundreds of years later, they return in tanks. And I mean, there's a lot of other context, but just that on its own excites the hell out of me. Okay, Gear Grind, what's the plan? The Pale Reavers are conducting reconnaissance. All right, so what, they've gone ahead? The tank column is standing by, and my warband is prepped. Say the word, Commander, and the mission's a go. Let's move out!
Let's not keep the commander waiting. Get this column in gear. Mangonel's our whiskey expert. After this mission's successful, the first round's on him. Right now, I want to see tails in motion. Form up and move out.
Sounds good to me. And check it out. Escort the tanks to the first checkpoint. So they move slow. All right. So we're dealing with like World War I tanks here, right? So they're revolutionary in their own way, but they've got their limitations. Let's put it that way. Okay. So they're slowly rolling on. And yeah, we just got to kind of escort them. I haven't really changed my builds for the stuff we're doing here today. I don't think is really too necessary, but it might be fun actually. We haven't done that for a while. In fact, there's still a couple of warrior specialization lines we haven't seen yet.
Dig in.
Oh dear, and they've destroyed one of the tanks already. Look at the bodies that came out. My god.
I'll get the tank repaired. Just clear those mines.
So, I mean, they're good. They are good tanks, guys, all right? We just have a little bit of a technical issue, all right? Everybody suffers technical issues from time to time.
Welcome to the sunny side of Ore, Commander. The Pale Reavers are at your service. We apologize for failing to warn you about the mine.
Yeah, what the hell?
Allow us to make it up to you. Let us cover you while you make repairs. We promise the rest of your route is clear. Of mines, at least. There may be other surprises.
So what exactly have you done as a scout? So yeah, I mean, more really badass stuff. Zaitan is mining the road with corpses. These are corpse mines. So what we have to do is press F on them to break them. I don't know what the actual logistics here is, what Tyrix is doing as he breaks these down. Let's say he's, through his warrior badassness, destroying the artifacts embedded within the flesh that would blow up if they are triggered. Let's say that they're mines that only detect certain weight thresholds near them. But it's interesting to think that Zaitan anticipated something like this, anticipated this kind of technology and knew how to deal with it. And you might say that's really unrealistic, but Zaitan is this ancient force in the world. And who knows what he learned the last time he was awake.
Mines clear? Good. I've got the lead tank operational. Let's move out.
Yeah, I got him. All right, look, and they rebuilt it really quickly as well. How did they just affix the wheel back on? Did we get to see? Damn, that was some pretty impressive stuff. I like the idea of the 2 wheels in front, 1 wheel on the back. That's such a cool little design, to be honest. So everyone moves forward. Do we have any bodies? Anybody left behind? I see our ballista is holding up the rear there. Let's move forward with the Pale Reavers. So, like, they do one instance where you feel like total badasses getting the Pale Reavers, and then another where you get these tanks. Look at this as we move further and further in. The architecture just slumped against the cliffs of Ore back there. Looking for a cathedral, and, well, what do we see this in the distance?
Last chance to inspect your equipment. Make it quick. We're not stopping long.
So we're sieging ahead.
Last chance to inspect your equipment. Make it quick. We're not stopping long.
So that's a very weird cutscene in that it doubles up. It is actually depicting different stuff here. Maybe I was standing in the wrong place. But yeah, we were looking for another cathedral, right? Well, over there, so it's the Cathedral of Eternal Radiance on the right here. Over there, you're seeing a glimpse of the next one. We just need to keep moving forwards. Oh no, a Lightbringer died. I mean, the tanks are so deadly that they're kind of cleaving everything out before us. Look, look, look. Risen's are getting summoned here, coming out of the sand and then immediately being blown up. Do you have any different dialogue for us? It looks like she doesn't right now. So wait, what's our objective here? Just to defend the tank column? They're defending themselves! Look at it. Oh god, we would have been sieged. Thankfully, no friendly fire. So get some marksmen, some other guys. I should really run some AoE. Do you know what would have been kind of cool as well? Is if we got a nice new rifle, you know, with good stats on it, and we could have pretended to be a Pale Reaver. We do get kill shot, right? Our adrenaline ability. In a weird way, we are a sniper of sorts. Especially if we find a way to just build our adrenaline up as much as possible. That might be really cool. Maybe to honor the Pale Reavers as we go further forwards, we can run that. Okay, everybody's getting cleaved out. How's the defense going from behind? The actual circle, the green circle, is suggesting to me that maybe I need to stand further back to protect our rear. But it looks pretty clean. These guys are just sieging the walls and being obstructed, so let's help them out, shall we? Oh, God. That felt pretty good. Oh, and another one. Nice! Down it goes. We actually got kills stolen a couple of times there. What about my experience on loot? Gear grind. Stupid kill-stealing tanks. We're halfway there. Things are going smoother than I expected. Heavy machinery and unfamiliar terrain don't always mix. It's a credit to you and your warband. Stay by to move on.
Move out.
So one thing you guys should be particularly excited about is, you know, we've ridden in submarines, we've ridden on airships, we've ridden on boats. Do we get to utilize the tanks in any way? Well, we'll see. As we slowly rumble on forwards. Cathedral of Zephyrs getting closer now. I love just the distant, bleak-looking sun. It feels like we're in like an Arctic Circle or something, doesn't it? It's like there is beauty out there. It's like we're in, you know, it's like that Lord of the Rings thing again, where you can hardly even see the sun while you're in awe. It's just all clouded and miasmic and foggy and undead and nasty. Ugh. Looks like the next checkpoint's just up round here, based on what the minimap is telling us. I'll try not to run on too much further than Mangonel here. And make sure everybody's... Oh, actually, we're coming over on the right. Alright, so we've got to climb the cliffs to get to the cathedral. And it's more giants. Lots more giants. Look at their pose as they're asleep. Just sort of arced over. Look at them up there. Oh, but this time we get tanks to do up the giants.
Hey, it's the commander. Have you seen all the risen giants around here?
They're coming from a nearby temple. We need to level it, but we lack the firepower.
I have just what you need. Ghostfire shells. Highly experimental, highly combustible. Something we picked up from the Ascalonians. Someone simply needs to mark the target and signal me, and it'll burn. Make sure you woody types get clear, though. This stuff devours everything in its path until nothing's left.
So, Ghostfire makes a return. We get Ghostfire mines to use on ships. We can put Ghostfire shells in tanks. So, Karis and Tegwen here as well with the Pale Reavers. I wish we Silvari had spent time developing our own tanks. Think how effective the Pale Reavers would be if we had stealthy... What did the chart call it? Mobile armored artillery? Like, the Silvari are scary how quickly they adapt. Yeah, very soon we'll see stealth Silvari plant tanks. Someday. For now, leave the tanks to the experts, that being the char. Standing by for your orders, Commander. How do you want us to proceed? Okay, well, this you'll actually notice is very similar to last time. If I say stealth, who gets stealth? It's just us three. That's interesting. It doesn't stealth everything, including the tanks. I'll keep you on attack formation for now. And that other line of dialogue is exactly the same, actually, as before. It's really weird. Her dialogue's very strange over these two instances. I wonder if once upon a time the devs were going to have it all as one or something, and then it got split in two. It is just a bit odd, isn't it? This mechanic had an icon. Oh, my God. The giants are right here. Okay, that's freaky. Okay, so they're just going to be fighting the tanks. We should get moving. Oh my God, they stopped for a second, but they're all going to start moving and fast soon. Hold on. I thought we had to signal to kill them and destroy them all. Maybe the point is that we sneak on ahead and there's tons of giants up at this cathedral and we need to signal to siege it from far away. That is actually so terrifying that the giants just came creepily looking there. I really don't want to die. So let's get away. Hello. You want me to mark this area to siege it all with fire? And there's a big dangerous giant. And this time, we're on our own. It sounds like he should have had some cool sound effects there, but we kind of missed out. So here's a giant chief. The actual ranking, what the giants are and like how they're ranked and stuff, they kind of lose a lot of that when they become risen. But in this situation, they don't. So it's not just a regular giant either. It's a giant that's got a lot of friggin' horrible aura that's keeping us perma-crippled and nasty stuff. If I just try and go completely guns blazing and do as much damage as possible, stack a lot of might, we should be good. Tegwen at least is helping us out and applying more conditions and stuff for us. You can hardly even see him in the smoke there. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Oh, he I was about to eviscerate to finish him off, but he knocked us away. Get back here, you bastard. Yes. Sweet. Okay, and hopefully we can finish him with the longbow.
The timer is damaged. If we trigger it, we won't have time to get clear.
We have to do something. These giants are getting bigger and madder all the time.
I know. Just leave it to me. You and the commander withdraw. I'll signal the ghost fire.
Tegwen? You can't do that. You'll be...
Doing only what I was called to do. For once, Karis, just do what I say. Go! That'll do.
Oh my god. So, I mean, I think we've missed a bit of story here about how important it is to stop this giant production facility and stuff. But Tegwen's going to run in there and trigger the charge just like Ton, really, before, so that she can do it and we can get out to safety. We've seen how fast that ghost fire burns, right? We've seen firsthand. Terex was on that boat. He saw it, you know, how he had to rush to the top. And I like the thought that, yeah, he would get out of there very quickly. And unfortunately, we have to leave with Karis. So Tegwen has been in the story for so long. And she's basically throwing her life away to get this done. It is pretty urgent, though, because nobody else seems to be able to deal with these giants right now. In fact, people are kind of getting ripped up. We need to get... Oh, here you go. The tanks are moving on. Did you see them rolling? And she triggers the charge. In comes the ghost fire from the tanks. At the last possible moment. And down presumably goes Tegwen up in a blaze of glory alone at a cathedral. Amongst giants peering in on her from all ends. You see the tanks are rolling way off over in the distance there. They're moving on. So we're going to have to run to catch up. All the planes clear for a second here. Does Karis say anything? No, she hasn't updated her dialogue about the fact that Tegwen's down. And yeah, we're forced to abandon. So that's not really claiming the cathedral. We have to do that in the open world with a meta event. But that's a big loss. I really think it is a big loss. These two spent so long in the story. Spending that time in Caraflower's home. Helping out at Claw Island. We saw them even with the forging of the pact and stuff. That arc. Very recently with a mirror.
I need a moment, Commander. I'm sorry. I know this is war, but I just can't believe she's gone. She was my partner, my friend.
I'm sorry too. Tegwen, we lost a good soldier today, but she died saving lives. We'll honor her memory.
Count on that. She was a tough old stick, and she fought well. When we get home, we'll all raise a toast to her bravery with the good stuff. And this time, I'm buying.
Tegwen is back with the Mother Tree now. Her memories, and our memories of her, will inspire generations of new Sylvari.
She'd love that. She always wanted to be the wise old elder that everybody listened to. For her and for me. Thank you, everyone.
And by the way, that's not a platitude, right? That's not like just to make people feel good. They're Sylvari. They feed back into the dream all the time. So some sense of Tegwen will truly exist in the dream from now on. I think it's a really, really big death for the story, this one here. If you think about it, Tegwen and Karis, these have been in the story and acting as agents in the story for longer than, like, our mentors were when we joined one of the orders. You know, they've been there longer than Tybalt and stuff. And so, you know, there's a lot of impact there. Unfortunately, it's impact only for people who choose the right story. So I think it's quite cool that we get to do this on Terex here, who's a grizzled, badass Char, who's, you know, wears his emotions a little bit less on his sleeve and doesn't have that really raw connection to Tegwen there. And, you know, he can say, look, we lost a good soldier, but not completely break down, and it's really believable. But, yeah, it's a big, big, big death, and one that I think too many people who play Guild Wars 2 miss out on. And one of the reasons I was excited to show this story to you guys, because I know if you play it right, you get the whole lot. I don't know how I can go on without her. Tegwen was my friend and my partner. We worked together for years. She taught me everything I know, and now she's gone. And, you know, it serves as some really cool character development for Karis as well, who, if we look at the original, the start of their story, she was just so reckless and ridiculous, and, you know, she will care more about what Tegwen preached now at this point. Be strong, Karis. Tegwen would want you to carry on this fight. And so there you go. I'm not sure if any of the Gear Grind Warband has anything to say, but we have put our tanks and Ghostfire shells to good use. Look at that, guys. Oh, there's a portal. That is the end of Malkor's Leap. And the next instance, we'll be taking those tanks through it. So let's see what we got. So moving along the road to Ruin here, uncharted territory, we do have a scout nearby who hopefully will tell us a little bit more about this cathedral, the Cathedral of Zephyrs, where we saw all of those giants. I'll just remind you all as we speak to this scout, who actually needs to be revived as well. Whoa, was that Risen laying down and just relaxing? I'll remind you all, we are in Malkor's Leap. Who had a special connection, it seems, with the leader of the gods and the first to arrive on Tyria, that being the goddess Dwayna.
Dwayna's cathedral was once a beacon of light and hope for the people of Or. We hope to see it remain a harmless architectural curiosity. Our fear is that Zaitan could use the temple to rouse every local statue of Dwayna to spread its corruption.
So, you actually notice that the area up there, I think it's called the Altar of Tempests as well. She was the goddess of, like, healing, but with air and wind and things as well. So, there's a whole really beautiful story there. Tyrix has no need to go there again, though. For the purpose of right now, I think it's safe to say that it's burning with ghost fire, and we don't want to be anywhere near it. These eerie orbs as well, leading the road, though, are really kind of cool. So now we're going to go south. Is this stairway? It's kind of hard. Where is the road right now? We got a packed camp just over here. I don't know whether we currently have that fortified or it's fallen to the Risen. It looks like players have come through here and actually done a pretty good job recently. So here you'll see like these air elementals, these sparks. This is because the cathedral is kind of okay up there right now, right? And that's the same as when we were looking at earth elementals earlier associated with Melanchu. So yeah, the Pact actually own this camp. It's a really cool name, if I remember rightly. This is Doric's Waypoint. So remember King and Doric's Shrine. Remember King Doric? Doric, the unified leader of humans who came here on a trek to plead with the gods to take magic away. This is the way he walked. You actually find there's a place called the King's Road nearby as well. Still so much detail to get out of this map. Don't you guys worry. But the tanks have come through the portal. And so that's where we'll go as well for now. Even way off over on the right, by the way, you might think this is the edge of the map. It's really not. There's a lot of content over there. But we're at Follower's Bridge, and moving in to the last map of the game, the Cursed Shore. The gateway to Ara, the now ruined city of the human gods. This realm is the home of the Elder Undead Dragon's most powerful minions. Oh, doesn't that sound eerie and wonderful? And it's not creepy here at all. It's all purple. So the lighting on this map is amazing. Immediately just A-bombs casually hanging around. Everything's level 80 now. This is a pure level 80 map. Do not come here before you're ready. And the game right now is to get to Ara, which is in the south. There's a hidden cave there with a wraith in it. I'm going to just try and ignore these things as best I can because it will take us a while to cleave through an abomination. Just south a little bit, we should find the first opening camp and we can start dealing with things. But it's a truly gorgeous map. I love the look of the skies here. And what you'll see... Okay, we're going to have to cleave some stuff out. We've got really dangerous and these will be corruptors. They're going to start using skills that become very frequent in like dungeons and dangerous story steps. So familiarize yourself with what they can do. Like that corruptor we were fighting there did that, you know, those 3 boomerangs he threw out of himself. Later, you're going to want to remember what that is so that they don't hit you with that kind of stuff. That guy was running away, so we probably don't want to fight him. But yeah, so in the Cursed Shore, if you take a moment at any time to look up, let's use our shields so that we don't get in combat, and really examine what you see, you'll find the true extent of the Orian people's capability to build things. Already there's been any number of extremely cool towers now slanted and lent to the side. We have these great arches and things we've noticed everywhere, these mysterious constructs that we don't quite know why the Orions had built them. Well, if you look here, there is one such one up there. Look at how huge that is.
Bury me in a pit on top of all the enemy dead.
Okay. But why?
If they rise from the grave again, they'll have to get past me.
Whoa, he's a badass. You're only going to find the most grizzled, awesome characters here. So here we'll come to Care, Shadowfen Care, Sylvari created outpost, an actual place of safety. You'll notice there is a permanent trading post here. So it's a little bit like Yak's Bend up in Frostgorge Sound, right? It's like an end game place where you can actually find a trading post. So this is kind of the equivalent, but much more dangerous. But back to this arch, check it out. It extends way up into the sky beyond visibility. And what you will find is that Ara, the capital, and the place where the gods themselves lived at the heart of Or, that was tended to for hundreds of years and tried to keep pristine, these arches actually lead to it. That arch, okay, its foundation is like here. That's what we're looking at. Well, hold on. Let me actually show you. So if we point Teryx directly at it, right, you'll see that I'm aiming here. So I think it probably starts about here, right? That arch hooks all the way to Ara, seriously. And it's not the only one. There are multiple, well, not all the way out from there. There are multiple different ones around, okay, that lead into the middle, and you could, they become prominent. We'll find another one like way south on the map. It's gorgeous, and I always wanted to climb on those and move around on them. You can see that it's like even broken here and comes to just a shell of a spine, and yet it's still okay. Like, it's so cool. It's like the magic that somehow holds it up, right? What is it? Magically super strong materials? Or is something else at play, you know? It suggests that it's connected all the way on the other end, and it's just so sturdy and rigid, it doesn't even matter if that breaks, right? And that's how it survives the cataclysm, and then even the raising of the area as well. Or is it Zaitan's magic somehow doing that, you know?
Two beasts. She returned covered in ooze and gore after dispatching them.
Oh, I want to hear these guys, but I couldn't. I thought they were around the other way, so we've missed the dialogue now. We'll spend plenty of time at Care Shadowfen, so don't worry, guys. There's a hero point here. There's a vista, all kinds of fun things. There's even stuff I want to talk about at Dorix and whatnot, so don't worry. But for now, I do want to go into the Steel Tide. This is the final mission of this arc with the Vigil's plan to get some tanks through to Ara. So let's see how it goes right here at the start of the final map. And, well, what do we have? We're going to meet Tactician Ben, who's been very helpful throughout this story step, as we and the Pale Reavers all slowly wander in.
Tactician Burn, I was told you'd be heading up an armored company.
Yes, Lightbringer, they'll be here. I ordered them to get some rest and a warm meal before the next operation. Hope that's all right.
That was a terrible call. Just joking. You're a good leader, Burn. I'll brief you on the situation once you're settled in. It's an honor to serve with you, Commander.
So this is a tense little bit of the story, I think, because we're kind of in a position where we just had a big character death, and we're really scared of having any others, you know? They're always, whenever it feels like you're doing a lot of really badass cool stuff, something comes back to remind you that the stakes are high.
Hello, Priestess Amelia. Didn't expect to see you out here on the front.
As ever, I carry Dwayna's healing light and go where I'm needed.
It's a pleasure to see you. Between you and Deborah, it's like being home in Divinity's Reach.
See, look at these little mice all meeting with one another. Another awesome human story here, if you're playing one. Priestess Amelia, if you don't know who this is, when we get knocked out by the Earth Elemental, super early in the story, we pass out. Who is it that tends to our wounds, wakes us up, recommends we help in the local area? It's Priestess Amelia. That's her from like one of the earliest cutscenes. And she's here at Or. What can I do for you today, Commander? How are you handling the Pale Reaver's injuries? Dwayna's blessings transcend race, but I won't lie. It's been a struggle to figure out how best to treat them. Haven't lost any yet, and I'd like to keep it that way. I have another question. How long have you been on the front lines? Not very long, but it feels like a lifetime. This is where I'm needed, however, so this is where I'll stay. Good to hear it. And she comes here in the same capacity as a medic.
Be careful.
Here at the end of all things, looks like Hyrule got hurt a bit there. He is a rookie. He's only just come out of that cage and, you know, joined up. The Pale Reavers are still reeling from Tegwen's death, especially Karis. Perhaps this mission is just what we need. It will distract us from our grief, advance the cause, and give us Risen to punish. 3 worthy goals. Let's get started. Always with the ferocity there. We got Karis is down and out. She's actually crippled here, it seems.
I'm sworn to protect this place.
Was there something you needed, Commander? I wanted to see how you're holding up after Tegwen's death. Losing her is like losing a part of myself. Perhaps the best part. I'm so used to hearing her voice that I can always still hear it, urging me on. That voice is right. Keep going. If we stop, we're lost. You know what? This is really grim, what I'm about to tell you guys. I might have mentioned it earlier in the series as well, which would be truly tragic. But this makes me think of that thing in real life where you lose some loved one, someone close to you, and you still have, like, their phone number, and you, like, ring them, and you hear their, like, away message. It's like, I can still hear their voice even though they're gone. It's, like, so gut-wrenchingly, heartbreakingly painful. You don't have to deal with that, Karis, I guess, or maybe she does through the dream. It could be even worse to deal with grief as a Sylvari. Nightmare Court probably happy with what happened here. So what else we got? We got this cool-looking char, members of the Order of Whispers around. We got Vigil Crusaders. We can get some resupplies and some repairs and stuff if we need it. Do you guys actually want to say anything? You're my buddies. And then over here, I guess we've got a few more. Rounding this corner, there's some scholars. Look at the forces we have here. And still protected, potentially, by the power of the blue orb, if that's what they're suggesting, at least, to some extent. Crusaders around there. All right, so, yeah, we're going to meet with Lightbringer Ives and move on. Actually, maybe Burn and Deborah want to speak first. So, hey, here you go. So, Deborah, in this instance, I think her ethnicity has changed a bit. I think. She's still got the... And now her eyes, instead of being purple, are bright blue. Was there something you needed? Something official? What do you mean official? Can you tell I'm just looking for excuses to talk to you and to get to know you more because I know you have this great wellspring of backstory. This looks like it will be a brutal mission. Are you ready? After being held prisoner by centaurs and almost sold as a slave, you bet I am. I'd rather die fighting than waste away in chains. Look, they even reference very explicitly her backstory there. Even though as a child we might not know what she's talking about. It seems you know a lot of people here. It's not surprising. Plenty of folks from Shaymore Valley signed up to take on the dragons. Tactician Burn, Priestess Amelia, me. What can I say? Crichtons know their duty. Feel free to shout for the queen when Zhaitan falls. Tyrix, I don't think you'd say that, would you? Tactician Burn, how's it going, man?
Dangerous times.
So, big leader, you've been helping people a lot, eh? Was there something you wanted? Something I can help you with? I love your dog. How long have you had her? I've had her since she was a pup. About 8 years now. My family's long gone. Friends come and go. And a lot of fellow soldiers have fallen. But Ali and I are inseparable. So Tactician Burn, actually, by the way, is named after one of the developers of the game. So, like, the very first NPC we meet comes back as this leader, this hero towards the end. How did you come to join the Pact? When I heard about a Pact effort to take down a dragon, I figured they needed me more than Divinity's Reach did. Once the Pact agreed to let me bring Ali, I signed up. Glad to hear it. I'm glad you were with us. Yeah, it is interesting to think that most humans are preoccupied with the centaurs, and he's seen firsthand the dangers of the centaurs there at Shaymore. But he still chooses to go for the dragons. That's quite a noble thing. All right, Lightbringer. How's it going?
Everybody, where do we stand? Are we ready to roll on the Risen?
Soon, Commander. We're waiting for Geargrind's warband to get here with the tanks.
There's a heavily defended Risen post southeast of here. If we take that position, the Pact will control this whole area.
Good.
Lightbringer Ives, scouts report a wave of Risen heading for Care Shadowfang.
From what side, soldier? From the shore or the mountains?
Both, sir. I think they're trying to take us out before the tanks arrive.
Ives, stay here and coordinate the defense. Burn, you're with me.
Ready the defenses. Push the undead back.
So we go. This is the idea of this mission. Welcome to Care Shadowfen. Our job is to hold this position and fortify till we're ready to push further in. It's a tough job. How are you holding up? It's not easy, but the pack manages to keep a steady supply of rations and reinforcements coming in, and every day we push the Risen a little bit further back. Glad to hear it. Doesn't seem like it. They're attacking us. So the idea of the mission right now, first of all, I'm going to put War Banner on, and I'll talk about that in a second, the battle standard. The idea here is just to defend and hold out for as long as possible until the tanks come in. It's kind of a weird moment in the... You actually can do this without using any skills, in theory. We're on a timer. It doesn't say on the top right, as it often would, you know, hold out till X happens. But we're on a timer of about 5 minutes, I think is the number. And we just have to deal with all these Risens. So there's farmers, acolytes, villagers, anything Zhaitan can get, he's throwing at us here. And you'll see that there's just swarms of them on the road that we came in on and on the way out as well now. So, you can, in theory, kind of just hide and hope that it gets dealt with by the NPCs. But keeping your allies alive is really an important thing to do. They're strong in numbers and en masse here at the start. A bit like, you know, defending the Pale Reavers, though they're obviously not as potent. But as time goes forwards, they do get whittled down. So the quicker you can kill, the more allies you'll have alive later into the mission, and the better. And if you do notice that some packets of your allies are dying, what you can do is battle standard or use resurrection abilities to get them back up. I actually really like using 4 Great Justice at the moment here because of all the might that we can give our allies. The PvP version of this skill stacks tons more though, so I kind of keep thinking that it's going to be as high as that, and it's not here in PvE. But yeah, so we'll just click these down. And my job, what I'm going to do is just keep orbiting around Chaos Shadowfane, right? Just in circles and circles and circles, and hopefully that will be good enough. Chaos Shadowfane's a pretty important outpost as well for us, as far as players are concerned in the open world, because it tends to be where the final meta events of all of Guild Wars 2, the final escorts and advancements all start off with escorting supplies down south along these roads. And there are very clear roads and routes all the way to Arar from here, now that we're here. In fact, Arar is the very next map over. So yeah, anyway, 5 minutes. There's not much really for me to say here, so I'll just speed it up and we'll cleave them down. Alright, so after quite a while here, you'll notice that a champion Risen Knight, one of these creepy-ass harpies, some of the more deadly enemies that you only really find here in the later arcs of the game, has spawned. So we're going to cleave him down. I'm guessing he's like the big boss towards the end of this section. Everybody started rezzing one another. Let's come over here. I probably could have ran more AoE stuff. I sieged with the longbow as much as possible, but we got through.
It's going well for now, but the Risen are relentless. I don't know how much longer we can defend the Care.
Keep your spirits up, Ives. Our tanks will make a difference. Listen to me. I'm praising Char ingenuity.
Packed ingenuity, tactician. Nobody's doing this alone.
Yeah.
We need to roll those tanks toward the Risen line. Once we hold that position, the Pact has a straight route to Arar and Zaitan.
Commander, the Pale Reavers volunteered to scout the route. We're tired, but together with you, we started this fight, and together we'd like to see it through.
Char tanks, human escort, and a Sylvari scout team. Doesn't get any better than this. We move on your command.
It does get better if there's an Asura influence somewhere here, but mysteriously not too much going on. Look at this, by the way. This is like Sylvari thorn walls now, but also infused with like blue orby stuff. I love the thought of all the untold technologies and things that are going into what we're doing here right now. You know, Trajan's been MIA for ages now, but you can just imagine he's just setting this up and then this up and then this up. Okay, cool. So Hyrule.
The moment.
I think that this is the same dialogue, so I'm guessing since he has the same, everyone's gonna have the same. Yeah, they do. Okay, okay, Debs. All right, let's move up here, and we did pretty well there. No casualties or anything bad, so let's see how we go. The tanks, I guess, are en route back where we came from, so we'll meet them halfway up the road. Rendezvous with the Gear Grind Warband. Come on, Char. It's not like you to be late. You should be efficient, and especially Iron Legion. Christ. Maybe Blood. Blood's a little bit, you know, more tardy, I imagine. Not that we should say that in front of Tyrix. Ah, here you are. Not too far at all. We got even more troops coming in from over there. There's Mangonel there. Hello. I see you finally made it. We got some mortars set up. We got the 3 tanks. Does Mangonel say anything right now? Look at these columns of people just moving in along the roads. It's not going to stop, Zaitan. The Gear Warband is ready, Commander. Just point us at the enemy, and we'll grind the Risen up into undead sausage meat. Good to know. And never say undead sausage meat again. Well, look, sausage is kind of nasty, isn't it? Sausage is one of... Notoriously, there's a saying about it. You should never find out how sausage is made, because it'll put you off the food. Who knows? All right, so Ballister. What do you got for us?
Hooah! Tanks primed and ready to roll out on your order, Commander. Commander, the soldiers want you to have the honor of being in the lead tank. They look up to you. It'd do them good to see you in the thick of it.
Thank you, Gear Grind. Tactician Burn, have our soldiers defend the tanks while we deliver firepower right down the Risen's rotten throats.
Will do, Commander.
Keep this area secure.
So,
Eternal vigilance.
We're ready to roll, Commander. If you've never seen a Gear Warband tank in an all-out firefight, you're in for a treat. So I think that the developers had an idea for this section of the mission that they never went through with in the end. I think they actually did want us to ride the tanks. And here you can see, press F to enter. All the dialogue suggested we'd, like, I don't know, move. And we do get to go into the tank sort of here, but in truth, we're standing next to it, and we get to use it, but not ride in it. So I think that's a real shame. We've seen them moving around. You don't actually get... and don't worry, because as the game goes along and the expansions start coming out, they do a lot of badass stuff like that. But here in the personal story, the best they can do is, like, approximate it. So you've got a tank, and then you've got mortars, okay? And you can choose what it is you want to do. So mortars are kind of... they're better like long-range siege. They act like trebuchets, right? So we can turn left, turn right, and then the more we hold it down to charge it, the further that they fly off, right? So we can siege away with those. And then you've got the tanks, which is more like directly targeted, where you're going to turn it left and right with the skill 1 and 2. Then you can fire, or you can use an ice shot, or even a golem pod to press and fire a golem pod, and we hold down to shoot further. So let's fire a golem. Here's your Asura technology there, and you get explosive golems, which will blow up and do extra damage. So we're going to use as much ordnance as we can to cleave out all of these Risen that are on the counterattack at Chaos Shadowfane. So yeah, the idea is you sort of stand back here, siege as much as possible. The undead will start coming in and attacking. Here's the thing. Once you start this fight, they will start relentlessly moving in and in and in and in, and people can start dying pretty hard. Our actual objective is to run out and destroy, can you see back there? Some dangerous stuff. Okay, so I'm going to try and not sequence break this. Let's siege for a while before I decide to take the initiative and move out with my regular skills, which is a quick way to complete this, but might not be necessarily what the devs wanted us to do. So yeah, let's see. I'm just going to stand here and siege away using our extremely dangerous attacks here with fire. There we go. And we'll cleave them out. See you guys in a sec. So here you'll notice that way off in the distance is an enormous Risen. It looks like it's not even a Norn, it's just a giant Risen. It's got a special marker around its feet as it charges in. That's a Plague Carrier Abomination. I never managed to hit it.
6 gods preserve us. Giants incoming.
And they do epic damage. You don't want to stand anywhere near it. It's like an AoE one-shot. You got to, like, bring it down early, and I kind of messed that up. So here, they just called that giants are spawning. So can you see, like, way out in the distance here? There's one over there. There should be 2 giants. This guy's moving in, and here's the other one. Can you see? Just coming around from behind that rock. You guys can see that phantasmal ghost in the background as well. I hope you can anyway. That's the Risen leader in charge of this assault that I think we'll see more information about in a second. So I'm going to try and snipe that giant. So we're going to get the... looking at the turret here. We're going to try and get the angle right. Charge it up about that much. Oh, that was perfect. Oh my god, I did so good. Oh, I'm really impressed with myself. Oh, and I got an early shot there and destroyed the Plague Carrier. Oh my god, there's so many abominations. We got to do this quick as well, because the abominations will and the exploders will eventually cleave my allies out. And once they've done that, we're kind of screwed. So here, I'm just going to move to the right. Because like this here, you see this A-bomb? Just kicked us off. Crap. Okay, so we got to aim at this giant. Maybe to the right a little bit more. Maybe. Oh, no, we got the aim. We got it. Here you go. Look, they're counter-sieging. There you go. They're down. Nice. And with the leaders dead, that's the bulk of the forces gone. That giant is still here, though. All right, talk to Ives. What's going on, man?
No, what cannot? Our tanks won't make it through that rough terrain. The Risen will get close and tear us apart.
We could send in foot soldiers. What are your orders, Commander?
Geargrind, you and your warband hold this position with the tanks. Kiris, Burn, you're with me.
Be cautious, Commander. We may have broken their line, but those Risen dogs will come back even stronger if we don't kill their leader.
Hey, watch the dog cracks.
He didn't mean anything by that, alley girl, I promise.
That guy's brilliant. All right, so there's more giants around still, and now we want to go forward. So proceed through the archway. You'll notice that the giant ghostly Risen from the background has disappeared now. So that's quite a subtle effect that you're meant to see early.
This endless wasteland is starting to get to me. Half the time I can't sleep. The other half, I don't want to wake up.
It's grim as all hell. So there are still some giants here. I think this was a bit...
Petra sent a care package. Her Tangleberry pie is a little taste of home.
This is a bit weird. I think that those giants aren't supposed to be here, so I'm going to try and sneak around past them.
At least we're all together. There's comfort in that.
It's great hearing the humans talking amongst one another and, you know, have that little slice of hope here. So, yeah, we'll move up the stairway. You can see that you get this cool arrow showing where we need to go. And, oh dear, there's more abominations. So let's use our longbow to try and kill it from range. So we can actually use longbow 5 to immob it. And then the Pale Reavers, baby. We've only got 2 of them with us. A Fanon, Hyrule, and I guess Karis is one, but she's got a hammer, right? Her trademark hammer. So we can immob these and have the Pale Reavers deal with it. Just don't stand near it when it explodes, like so. Oh, God. It poisoned us and did a lot of damage, even from back there. And these fields are kind of deadly. I wonder what the damage is called, actually, if I stand in that. Shall we see? Yeah, look at that. Crazy pressure. So it seems like these ones don't necessarily one-shot. They drop a rolling AoE you want to stay away from. It's called Explode, as you can see there. So, sorry, Burn. He just went downstate. Let's get him back up. You're still good, man. Maybe a bit weakened here. You want to be careful, dude. Can't take too many hits like that. And Karis as well. You know, I don't think we spoke to Ali in the story step. Ali looks up with you, bright eyes. Jesus, look at that. He looks cool. Ali looks cool there. Good girl, Ali. Remind me that I owe you a treat. It would be awesome if having a treat in our inventory, it did something there. Oh, God, a plague bearer just appeared. We got a whole load of different things here. It feels like we're underwater with this coral here. It's still ethereally glowing as we get into more magic-rich areas close to a freaking elder dragon nearby. So, yeah, I'm just going to cleave these out, and I'll see you guys when we get to the end of the road. Oh my god. I don't think the Risen care if you call them Fight and Child, by the way, to all the Sylvari. So coming across this rusty old bridge, this is an interesting area of the game. In the open world, there's very little to do here. Going all the way around on this bridge and up to this special area, really it's a part of this mission that's still tied in, and little else. But so from this plateau, it seems we have another dangerous Risen. This is Archmage Harshaf. So you'll see it looks like just kind of a human undead. Vulnerability, fear, drains life. Intense music as we come towards it. You got anything to say for yourself, Harshaf? Is there any sentience left within you? Oh, look at the weird way that the head was like lopped back a bit. Like its spine is broken or something. And here we go. So we get the Pale Reavers to help take it out. I'll drop the war banner. Give ourselves and everyone some fury, more might and whatnot. And cleave through. You will pay for what you have done. No dialogue, even at 50%, it seems. Draining life, but we're doing too much damage, so it can't resustain. And there we go. Good ice and downstairs. It'd be so cool if we could stomp this as well. This is like, oh, here we go. So, yeah, she goes into down. You think it's over. And then a lich explodes out of the body and has new abilities. Teleports, steals health, causes fear. And obviously this fight isn't particularly dangerous. But again, you want to watch what the animations are and what these kinds of creatures can do for when they start getting really deadly. Uh-oh!
Help! It's too powerful!
Deborah! Deborah, no! Ali's clawing away at it.
Deborah, no! I won't let you have her!
Ben? Ben, don't do anything reckless! Oh, he shoots with his pistol. By the way, he only gets that pistol in this instance. Everywhere else he has different weapons.
Quickly, Debs, run! Just get out of here!
Oh, he actually saved her. Good job. But now you have aggro on a lich. Oh, God. I love the way they look. And... Ben, you fool! Ben! Look at Ali still trying to fight away there. And all we can do is watch.
Sam! No! Not you, Sam! Not you!
No! Hold on. What were we doing? Let's say we were magically incapacitated for that period of time. And look, it fears the dog now, and the dog's running away. Get the hell away from the dog! Ben just took a big hit. He couldn't take another one. Down he goes. Tyrix! Tyrix, you fool! What have you done? Why did you just stand around in the cutscene? The first NPC, guys. The very first character we speak to. Named after a dev. And right after Tegwen, too.
Burn? Dead? Oh, poor Sam. I can't believe he's gone. He was so brave.
He deserves a burial befitting a hero. Will you take him home to Divinity's Reach?
I'll do more than that. Sam was like family to me, so I'll take care of his family too. Come on, Allie. You're still a pack dog for now, but when this is all over, you can run in the fields all day and sleep by my fire at night.
Oh, you can really tell the devs are on the hunt for killing things off. Zaitan is ruthless at the end here. And it could have... Can you imagine if Deborah had died in this story instance? What that would have done for, like, the narrative? But yeah, Beirne goes down. And he was introduced pretty late in the Pact's efforts, so, you know, it's a sad moment, but I think ultimately not too crazy. It's kind of the 1-2 punch combo, though, of Tegwen, and then there's even more loss afterwards as well. It is a big victory. We do claim Chaos Shadowfang. Every time we lose someone, but we're getting closer and closer to Arat. It's within, you know, throwing distance now. Karis, looking on, is still feeling bad about Tegwen's death. Deborah bowed down next to the body. Unfortunately, we don't get to check in with her at the end. And yeah, I don't know what's sadder, a man losing his dog or a dog losing his man. Ali whines softly. She paws the ground when she's not sniffing the air. Ben's gone. I'm sorry, girl. And so, yeah, we got Hirewall was watching this as well. And a Feynun. We did what we could. I really like the idea of that boss fight there as well. The idea that, you know, you think you've got the better of them and then suddenly this really dangerous lich bursts out and just, like, slaughters one of your allies straight away. And yeah, so the story of Deborah now, I think, is really interesting. Beirne's dead. She does actually do what she says here. Deborah will not appear in any upcoming story after this. She isn't involved in the later efforts against Zaitan as a part of the Pact. She isn't involved in any Living World story or any expansion story. Deborah exits, and I think it's because the devs probably realized she's so complicated and difficult to implement based on how she refers back to, like, only a very tiny percentage of the community's options in their stories. But yeah, she goes and she adopts Ali as her pet and kind of gets on with her life. But it's really cool to see her here at the end of the story. Pretty sad with Beirne. And with that, guys, that's the end of Act 2. We're on to the final act of the game now. In the final map, we're at a very important story step called Against the Corruption, where we join the expedition to Or's Royal Tombs. Slowly, some of the things the dream showed us and the Pale Tree showed us have started to come true. We've seen these giants, and if you remember, in that vision, we were in Or's Royal's tombs. So there's going to be a big story step coming up for Tyrix very soon. Oh, when are we going to find time for all the metas and things? Surely there are some other heroes out there that can help? Well, we'll figure it out, and I'll see you guys next time very soon.
The city is my home. I was born to common folk, just one among many. My friends and I don't seek attention or glory. It's hard enough making ends meet. But I believe we can still shape a brighter world out of the ashes of the past.